This example that we're going to take a look at deals with trying to figure out, can we create an equation to continue on our pattern? So what we'll notice is we have a pattern where we are given four figures or pictures that represent the continuation of a pattern where each of our sides and our top are gaining a square each time. We're gaining a block each time. There is a table of values that's given there on the screen already, and we're told for each figure number how many blocks are in each figure. And so we've already extrapolated for the fifth and sixth figure. Can we keep on going? Okay, so can we find future values, or how can we do this? Well, the first way, and maybe the most basic of ways, is we can just keep on going and keep adding numbers to the pattern. We're going up by 3, so 22, 25, 28, and so on and so forth. And then also we make a mistake and we go up by 4 one time, or by 2, and now we're off and we made a mistake. So can we figure out the 10th figure, the 20th figure, or the 100th figure? Well, that 100th figure is going to be a lot of going up by 3s. We can create a formula to solve for future values. So we can create a formula where we plug in the figure number, 5, 10, 20, 100, and it will tell us how many blocks are in that shape. Okay? It's again, looking at a pattern and how do we extrapolate that pattern. So first thing that we're going to do is we're going to look at how are things changing. Well, you'll notice there that the number of blocks, the first one goes up by 3. The next one goes up by 3. And every one continuously goes up by 3. That's important. It's going up by a consistent amount each time, which means we can create an equation for this right here. So what are we going to do? Well, we are going to start off by calling this x, and we're going to call this one y. So the figure number is going to be represented by x, and the number of blocks is going to be represented by y. This formula that I'm going to show you, or this pattern that I'm going to show you in how to come up with a formula, is the same for all patterns that we have and can be kind of continuously used if we can see the pattern that is coming through there. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to create this little equation. We're going to start with y is equal to. All right. Well, the first thing is we need to multiply the x value by how much the y is going up by each time. So we're going to multiply the x by 3, or 3 times x. It's just whatever it's going up by each time. So look at the y, it's going up by 3 each time. So we multiply the x value by 3. Okay, so that is how the y is changing when x goes up by 1. Okay, so each time x goes up by 1, y goes up by 3. So we've got to multiply the x by 3 to make up for that change. The next part that we're going to take a look at is we often need to add or subtract something onto this to come up with our answer. And what we need to add or subtract on is the y value when the x value equals to 0. So I'm going to extend this chart up above here, and I'm going to make that 0. Well, what is the y value when x is 0? We're going up by 3 each time, so we're going backwards this time. So let's subtract 3, and we get a value of 1. So we're going to then add 1. Now, this is what I'm going to call the starting point. This is when x equals 0. There's a couple ways that we can solve for this. The other way that we could look at it is once we know how much the y value is going up by, the first way is by exactly what we did, figuring out the 0 term or the 0th term, depending on how you might have heard it before. And that would be what we're going to add or subtract. Now, if it's a negative number there, we're subtracting. If it's a positive number, we're adding. The other way that we could do it is to look at when we multiply x by 3, what do we need to add or subtract to get y? So in the first row there, we have x is 1. 3 times 1 is 3. We need to add 1 to get 4. If we look at the next box, does it work the same way? 2 times 3 is 6. We need to add 1 to get 7. So we're always adding 1 on each time, and that's another way to create the equation.